Hello, welcome back to Kingdom Creator Connective Collective. Yay, we're back. I know you haven't seen me in forever. Did you miss me? I missed you. So, what are we talking about today? Well, I wanted to come back and do a bit of a refresher. I wanted to do a bit of a reboot, refresher for this channel. I have been doing a lot of working in different areas, and it was all for a purpose of research, gathering, understanding, analytics, all of these kinds of things in order to determine and deem exactly what it is that I really needed to do and focus on with this channel. And what I came to the conclusion of in the process of doing all of these things was this: that there's an order to things. Now, everybody knows I'm Christian. You're going to get this Jesus. But I've come to the understanding just in watching, there's an order to things. It was brought to my recollection of something, and it showed me a level of order that really just blew my mind. And as you know, I did a video series on Make Your Money Make You Money that I tried to introduce you guys to what I wanted to do with this channel, but I kind of backed off because of the fact that, one, the video content, it at that particular time was not doing what I wanted it to do. I was getting too many glitches. I was trying to run it on my computer. I wasn't getting what I wanted for doing a live video. So I backed off in order to really just, determine and deem what I wanted to do in the best way to give you the best quality content on this channel as possible. And I've been working on things, creating some things, and I've come to the realization that there's a lot of stuff that a lot of people don't know, nor do they understand. So I've gotten a bit of an understanding too, and I want to share that. So I'm going to be showing you in a sequential order what I've come to the understanding of. Now, it may seem like I'm talking a little bit cryptic. I'm about to explain myself. What I'm talking about is this. The fact of the matter is, when it comes down to creation, when it comes down to development, when it comes down to building, you have to have and set yourself a foundation. One morning, about 2-3 months ago, I was sitting on my couch and I opened up my application and I started writing. When I started to write, I started to jot down a series of notes. And in that note set, I came to a realization this was steps. So what I want to do with this channel is show you the steps that was revealed to me that morning when I started writing things down. I remember years ago, before I even picked up a camera and started getting on these social media streets like that, I used to follow a couple YouTubers, and these were people that were just putting their lives on YouTube. I hadn't heard about what it was to do your own YouTube web series, all that kind of stuff. And it was just somebody I used to follow prior to changing my life over fully to my Christian walk. And I recognized something that we hear about a lot, but sometimes it can be made so formal, made so, what's the word? Coachy, analytical. You know what I'm saying? That it can lose people. It can actually deter individuals from wanting to or ascribing to the desire to want to build a brand, a personal brand, or develop on a social media platform. But I watched one woman start a vlogging journey. People started to really pick up and follow her during that time frame during her pregnancy. And then as you watched her life expand and grow and all of these kinds of things, she started pulling her friends in and they started picking up and doing channels. And because everyone was watching her, it was almost like a three-way experience, because you'd watch her, then you'd go onto their channels, and then because you were watching her, when you watched their channels and they'd have moments that crisscrossed each other, it would be like, okay, now you're seeing their version of the same thing, and it's like it was an interesting three-dimensional experience to watch each person recording their lives, but you followed each individual's journey. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, wow, this YouTube thing actually is a thing. And then I started seeing that people were getting endorsement deals and so on and so forth. But I started to realize something. There's an order to this. What am I saying? A lot of people stop at the I got a dream phase. This notion popped into my head. I had an idea. Oh, it would be good to be. I would love to do this. This is something that I'm interested in. I always was passionate about that. Man, if I could. But most people stop right there because they look at their external circumstances, where they are in that moment, and say, I can't do that because I'm here. I can't do that because I'm this. I can't do that because I can't put my life on camera because look at my life. Nobody ever said you did. You know that there are 3 different ways that you can be on social media and you don't particularly have to be on camera. 1, you can do the camera if you like it. 2, you can become a podcaster and don't nobody have to see you unless you want to do video podcasting. 3, you can blog. There are people making millions off of blogs right now, talking about something that they were passionate about. So a lot of people choose not to chase their dreams because of the fact that they're like, I can't talk about that. I can't do that. Yes, you can. You got to sit down and realize what it is that you want to do. It's a series of steps to this. Understand that you want to do it, and then you have to do this big girl, big boy thing. Sit down and commit to doing it. A lot of people psych themselves out with self-sabotage and don't commit to doing it. Because if they don't commit to doing it, they do not get a result. There's a poem by, I ain't even going to jack up the name. I'm just going to tell you the name of the poem. Our Deepest Fears. I remember hearing this poem in the movie Coach Carter. And a young man stood up to recite the poem. Our deepest fears is not that we're not going to be successful. It's the fact that we're going to be more successful than we ever could have dreamed. So we stop ourselves. We stop at the dream phase. We don't move past dreaming. We don't move past seeking the dream. Oh, that's a good idea. I would love to be. But practicality seeps in, and path of logic comes in and says, but you're here. You can't go there. You're on this side of the street. There's a glass between you and that. But what if it wasn't? What if the glass was a mere illusion? You ever seen that meme where it's an individual and they're standing and they're not walking through a doorway and the door's wide open? Because they're upset because the sign says something. The door is open. You just have to be willing to walk through it. A lot of people aren't willing to walk through it because it takes work to get to the opposite side. There's another quote that I love that says, when you are willing to do the things that others won't, you'll see a result that others won't get. And it's another quote that I love that I've been seeing on TV a lot lately, that the pain to change has got to be, well, actually, it's the pain of saying the same that must be or outweigh the pain to change. Because if the pain of the atmosphere you're in does not desire to make you change, then you won't move. And a lot of people get caught up in that. I'm sorry, I like to do empowerment speeches, so if it seems like I'm getting away, I have to encourage you. You got to move. Number 2, you have to make the decision of listing out what it is that you really want. What do you want? These individuals that I saw become YouTube sensations didn't just become YouTube sensations because they picked up a phone and said, I'm going to record myself. They actually created a game plan and strategically moved throughout that period of time, that through the enjoyment of people watching them, they understood what the people wanted and wanted to see. So as they did that, they integrated other things as they go. One particular one, she was the friend of the main one that did a video, and she had a family, and she found herself doing videos on hauls and all this kind of stuff. And she just did the video on the content that she really liked to do, but people enjoyed her comedic attitude. And over time, you saw her start producing music with her sibling. Then she got a modeling contract. Then she was doing interviews. Then she was dealing with, what was it? She did a modeling contract. She did interviews on podcasts. Then she did, what was it? A bodybuilding challenge. She was doing hauls. She was doing all this kind of stuff. Her and her family ended up getting a promotional deal for the YouTube channel that they were going to be streamed on one of the streaming services. She ended up doing her own music video for her song that she came out with after she realized people liked the song that she had sung in relation to the breakup of a situation that was going on in her life. And it was a scenario. I'm like, what are we out here doing, y'all? What are we out here doing? That woman did that. Just people enjoy following her. What are we out here doing? I'm serious. It's another young woman that's a Christian on this YouTube. She gives spiritual Christian advice all the time. She gets ragged on a lot because it's a viewpoint, because you're Christian, you're supposed to be in poverty. The woman just came back from vacation in one of the most gorgeous cities in the world. And She does a lot of photo shoots over there and video shoots over there for her other channel's content. But she don't really share it with her Christian community because of the fact that people rag on her because of that. And I've come to the realization that as you elevate, people are going to rag on you because of the fact that you elevated, because you actually did it. There's an actual meme. I saw this on Facebook the other week where it's two sets of people. You have two black people and two white people. If you watch the position, both of them look like they're trying to climb a tree, and the other one that's below them is trying to assist. But if you pay close attention, it's only the Caucasian persuasion group of people that are actually trying to help the person go up the tree. The people of the opposite minority, their hands are in a pulling position to pull the person back down. Some people will not be willing to grow with you if you truly decide to make the decision to grow and change your life. But first, you must change your mind, you must change your heart, and you must change your spirit. You got to change your belief systems, because as you change your internal landscape, your external environment changes. And see, a lot of people don't understand that in order to grow, that must happen. With every season, you're going to see that happen. It's a sign you're growing. Embrace the purging. Embrace the cutting off of certain things. Embrace those things. But know it's going to happen. That means that you are elevating. You are growing. And as you grow, you're going to gain understanding that's going to bring wisdom, that's going to cause you to cross paths with people that you're going to have them in one season, you're not going to have them in the next. But they're going to get you where you need to go throughout that season. But as you elevate to the next one, they're going to cut off. They're going to shift. But understand, there's going to be a season where you're going to collaborate with people and they're going to help you, and they're going to help you walk through the journey when you've committed. And that there's been a season of pruning and testing in that area. And you're going to grow. Some of it's going to be on camera. Some of it's not going to be on camera. Some of it you're going to be able to share in your blog. Some of it you're not going to be able to share in your blog. Some of you going to be able to podcast about it. Some of you not going to be able to podcast about it. And some of you, through the process, you're going to determine what you're going to talk about in these places because these things are happening to you. It's a song I listen to ever so often, 22 Summers by Tisha Campbell. And she says something about the fact that those issues paid her. Your issues, your traumas, and the very things that you're being affected by will pay you later. What we here to do right now is to determine what you're good at, how to find those things, understand your creativity, find your zone of genius within that, and as you go, whatever things come up that align with that, whether you start a blog, a podcast, or get on videotape and do your own web series, podcast series through video podcast, whatever that is, you're going to turn that into money. So what am I going to be teaching you through this process? I'm glad you asked. I'm going to teach you to go from the process of being the dreamer to understanding each area of what you want to brand in your lifestyle. Because I have a 5P formula where I teach you the presentation, the purpose, because you're going to determine what your purpose is. We're going to figure out how you're going to present it. We're going to figure out how to promote it. We're going to figure out what your presence is. And guess what? Then we're going to turn it into a potential podcast. Maybe you come in the process of determining that and figure out what your zone of genius is, and you write a book. Maybe you ain't ready to write a book. Maybe you write an ebook first. Figure out what those concepts and points are. Then you write a book. Then you turn that book into a podcast. Then you turn that. You see how that works? You see how that works? I need you to come into an understanding that we are in a time frame that we're seeing our world go through a ton of changes. We're not trying to go backwards. We're trying to move forward. Some people are in certain types of issues that they don't have to be. But what if you could use your talents, your gifts, and what it is that you're good at and expand? What if you could create? I was watching a video the other day, and literally they were saying that the combination of novelty and familiarity is the sweet spot. And when you understand that, and when you figure that out with what is your sweet spot for you, what you enjoy, once you study the process, once you know what it is you're building, maybe you want to be your own brand, or maybe you want to create an avatar of the brand in which you're determining that you want to be in. And with that, you are coming into an understanding that you have an actual purpose that has steps to it, and you determine what your steps are to get you to your goals and what it is that you would desire to be. And I want you to think big as to what that is. Then I want you to think about collaboration, partnerships, making a plan. Maybe you want to do a 90-day plan at first. Maybe you want to do a year-long plan. I'm going to give you links to a couple of videos that I've been looking at to help you get through that process. Then maybe you're thinking about collaborations. Maybe you're thinking about events. I used to go to events all the time. Here's a little tip, little story. Hey, I used to actually go to business events. Somebody came to me when I was doing the work on myself and said, have you ever tried Meetup? I said, no, I never tried Meetup. They said, go on Meetup, figure out what it is that you like and go to the event associated with that. I said, sure, let me see about this. I started going to local events. I started looking up on Facebook the things that I was interested in and where those local events were. Guess what? I started going and I started vlogging. I started taking these. I was going to local fashion shows. I was going to local events. I was going to all these places. I got my name printed as a actual blogger during that time frame. I was connected to, because I went to business events with a local newscaster that worked in the fashion district going to these shows. I'm not saying this because I'm talking out of the air. These are things that I did. In all actuality, it can be done. You can do this. And during that time, I pulled away because I was changing my spiritual walk and I was determining which direction I wanted to go. Now I'm back. We back and we better. So we growing and we determining where we going so that we can grow better, live better, understand better. And take what we learned in that process, put it together, and build something better. Because maybe at that time, it wasn't time for me to blow up. But maybe during this one, it is. But in this season, with all that's going on in our world, we need to figure out what our cornerstones are. There are cornerstone industries in service, in food, in industrial field, like where you see packages like Amazon and affiliate marketing and all of that kind of stuff. And then there's the nursing and all of that kind of stuff. There were things that I witnessed during the time of the Pandora's box, that there are things that you can line up and harness that as you're building and growing, if you line that up properly, And there's some videos I'm going to link in there that I'm going to show you how to do that. This isn't impossible. Why is it that people are going from nobody to trips in Dubai, traveling on a dime, understanding sponsorship, just understanding how to properly budget themselves? We got to do better. Know better to do better. And when you know better to do better, you can grow better